Hello, Winning Agenda fans. Host Brian Holland here with panelist Jesse Marshall. Jesse Marshall on Jinteki.net. How you doing?
Hello.
And we're here today to talk about Jesse's latest iteration of Kate based on the changes that have come in from the Most Wanted list. So, Jesse, you've been playing Kate probably since you got into the game.
Yep.
Since then, you've gone. I think you went to an admin build, then into a stealth rig, then you went into a more general build, and now we're back to the stealth. So,
Yep.
what's been why have you gone back to stealth now post MWL?
One of the key reasons was the pointing of Clone Chip and Parasite. Or when I say pointing, I mean that they now have an extra influence point, thanks to the Most Wanted list. So that meant that there would need to be some changes to the deck anyway. But in my recent testing with Atman and Data Sucker and then a normal rig, which was Corroder, Gordian Blade, and Mimic, I was finding that the prevalence of 5-strength code gates between Turing and Tollbooth at the moment meant that you were paying 4 to get through a Turing with a Gordian Blade, and 7 to get through a Tollbooth with a Gordian Blade on a remote server. And that was far too much to be able to consistently check remote servers and trash assets and upgrades, even with Parisia in the deck. So when I was thinking about cutting influence, rather than just cutting it from the Parasite and then maybe taking out something else as well, like a Data Sucker, going down to 1 Data Sucker and sort of crippling some of the offensive capabilities of the deck, I wanted to rethink the rig completely, because I think Refractor is one of the best placed, if not the best placed, code gate breaker at the moment, because it pumps up to 5 strength with just 1 stealth credit, and if you've got either a lockpick and a cloak or 2 cloaks in play, you're breaking through Turing for free, essentially.
Yeah, no, that's really good. So what about some of the backup pieces? You're obviously still playing Clot, and you're also playing 2 Film Critic, and I've noticed that you're not playing Diesel.
Yep. So Clot is something that I always want to play now when I can in Shaper. With 3 Clone Chip, it means you can recur it still, and I think it's an important piece for a deck like this, which is a little bit slower competing against Fast Advance.
And should our listeners infer from your inclusion of Clot that you don't think the MWL is going to really stop Fast Advance being so powerful?
Yeah, no, definitely not. As you'll see in our next video, still think that Fast Advance is the best Corp deck, NBN Fast Advance, and we'll be taking it to quite a few store champs this season, I'm sure. The other thing that this influence change... Oh, sorry, on those hate cards as well, you mentioned Film Critic. There's also 2 Plascrete. I've always played 2 Plascrete. I think it's really important to honour that threat, and it means that one of the things I like about Shaper is that you can deal with all comers, and Plascrete is an important part of that. Film Critic is another one, because it allows you to deal with those other decks that are playing a grindier control style game, and allows you to compete with Replicating Perfection for their hard to steal agendas in particular, between NAPD and the Future Perfect.
And so you've kept the same sort of economy package in Lucky Find, Sure Gamble, Modded. Obviously no prepaid. You were never really playing prepaid. And you've also cut Diesel as well, and you're not playing any Quality Time. I believe for a little while you were playing Quality Time. Those cards are no longer in the deck.
Yeah, I've never really played Quality Time in Shaper. The only time I really play Quality Time is in Criminal, and sometimes in Anarch, rarely, because of the influence difference between Quality Time and Diesel. But for this particular build without prepaids, I do often bring Diesel in because it helps you to find, with Stealth, you've got a lot of pieces you want to find. And if you don't have a contacts in your opening drawer, it can help you more quickly get to the contacts that then sets you up for your smooth tempo throughout the rest of the game. So I do like Diesel, but in this build, space is quite tight, as you can see from the fact that there's only 2 Astrolabe. I would ideally like to be playing 3. There are 3 moddeds, there was only 2, and I recently cut the Diesels to add in the 3rd modded and the Lockpick as well, which I think is important because as the game goes longer, you don't want to have to use up your Ghost Runners unless you need to. And having Lockpick in addition to Cloak in your rig means that you're less likely to need to use your Ghost Runners on any given run.
Excellent. So we're going to play a couple of games. Is there anything you want to add before we get into the games themselves?
Yeah, I guess one thing that's really stands out about this particular rig in terms of the programs in this deck is that you've got your Code Gate Breaker and your Sentry Breaker in faction, which is very important because it means that there is spare influence even with a Most Wanted card in the deck, 3 copies of Clone Chip. you've still got space to have like the HQ interface, which is a sort of a luxury card, I guess. But because your Sentry Breaker in Dagger is in faction, and I think is a very serviceable, if not one of the best Sentry Breakers at the moment, it frees up your influence to be able to do things like that and have the clot in there.
Yeah. Well, it looks really good. We're going to play some games, guys, so stick around.